Plans are now underway.
For the new
2023-2024.
Lincoln Middle Georgia Black Pages and Resource Guide
The theme is 200 years
of the African American business.
The journey, challenges, successes, and legacy in Macon and Middle Georgia. Thanks to community-wide support, we will celebrate the 31st year of the publication. Along with your
Free listen.
you will gain additional exposure. Our advertising rates work for every budget.
You cannot afford not to advertise.
Circulation of the hard copy edition includes 9 central Georgia counties.
Pick up a book.
The new and improved website is another effective medium for marketing, where your ad will appear free of charge. Digital promotion includes email blasts to over 25,000 recipients and all social media platforms. Think Black Pages to market your business. For more info, visit
MaconBlackPages.com. There's an old expression that says a happy wife means a happy life. And then I'm not one to argue with that expression, but it takes more than a happy wife to have a happy life. You know, it also takes a happy body. And what helps one to keep a happy body is health care. And oftentimes that's overlooked. The importance of health care, the importance of the availability of health care, the role that healthcare plays in our community, not only from a health perspective, but from an educational, economic, civic, and community perspective. So anytime there's any kind of project or initiative designed to address healthcare, either generally or specifically in a community, then I purport that that's a good thing. Well, I'm happy to purport to you today that I am going to discuss a good thing with a good person, with 2 good institutions from a good community. And so I'm happy to have with me Mr. Del Vecchio Finley, who's the president of Atrium Navicent Health. And he is going to be advising us and apprising us and informing us on an initiative that he and Dr. Ivan Allen of Central Georgia Technical College have formed to help students have a happy body, which will help to address a healthy education. How you doing, Mr. Finley?
I'm doing fantastic, Mr. Haversham. AC, my buddy, how are you, sir?
I'm outstanding. You know, I was so pleased to hear about that partnership between Central Georgia Tech and Atrium Navicent Health. And it should not be taken lightly, you know, because I think we all know that there are deficits as it relates to healthcare in our community, in our state, and even in our country. And we also know how important young people and education are in our community. So anytime there's any kind of issue to help young people receive a quality education and to better position them to receive that quality education through health care, then that's a good thing. So talk a little bit about that partnership.
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to. I mean, you were excited to hear about it. We were thrilled, but to share it with the community. I mean, I think you've stated it so eloquently. Health and education. We often refer to these things as anchors, if you will, for well-being, right? And the places that provide these things we call anchor institutions because they are place-based. They are rooted in our community. So, you know, whether that's faith-based organizations, churches, synagogues, you know, all those types of organizations, schools, places of higher learning, and healthcare organizations. We are anchored in our community. We are anchored in helping the members of our community, our families, our friends, our neighbors, all get access to our services to advance their own health. And so this particular partnership is a great example and manifestation of that. As you know, and I believe your audience knows, we are so privileged to have Central Georgia Tech in our community. They are based in Warner Robins. They also have a campus in Macon, and they also have a campus in Milledgeville. And they are, by many respects, one of the premier technical colleges, not just in the state of Georgia, but also across the country, and under the amazing and very inspirational leadership of Dr. Ivan Allen. And so we are just, again, really pleased to be able to partner with them to bring basically the campus-based student health services to all of those campuses. We will be providing on-campus services in Warner Robins and in Macon, and what we call near-campus services in Milledgeville, where those students who are getting their courses of study on that particular campus can come just a short mile away from that campus to our Atrium Health Navicent Baldwin campus and our Live Well clinic there, where they can get course services. And we're just really excited, because it is not just about providing those services. Big piece of that is making them accessible, but also about making it affordable, right? Students will be able to get these services thanks to the really, I want to say, vision of the university and partnership with us, with no additional cost other than their student fees, which they already pay. So we're going to be able to devote these resources to doing this. And Dr. Allen, I believe, has told me this. We're going to be the first. This partnership is the first partnership with a technical college in the state, so throughout the entirety of the state, to be offering similar services that happen in many of our four-year institutions across the state. So we're really advancing equity in that regard, taking all of our students who are getting care. And I should mention, parenthetically, it's for faculty and staff too. So there's about 12,000 students over those campuses, but another 1,000 faculty and staff members who will be able to get access to care right there on their campus, very convenient to them. And it's about both sick care if something's wrong and we can provide that service, but also preventative care, keeping people well and helping people even with chronic conditions to maintain a good course of well-being. So super excited about every element of this partnership.
I too am super excited, because I'll tell you why. Because oftentimes people stay off of work, they get deathly ill, they become depressed. And there are a lot of negative things that happen to people because they tend to not identify potential problems in their body because they don't have access to it. For example, a student may have a bad headache. A student may fall and hurt him or herself and maybe not know whether he or she has a broken bone. A student may feel nauseated. A student may sleep too much in class. And one thing that's needed as it relates to a potential problem in one's body health-wise is access to care. But then when it's a major hurdle, to access that care, then it gets worse.
That's right.
So I think maybe we can kind of overlook, if you're not careful, what this really means directly and indirectly to these students. And I didn't know it included the faculty and education, because if it's quick, a lot of people, I hate to say it, but a lot of people die of illnesses and diseases and get sicker because of the lack of early attention and early detection. So, I mean, for these students, for Central Georgia Tech and both Macon, Warner Robins, and within a mile of the campus in Milledgeville, it's just phenomenally important. So now let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned, acute care. So let's kind of encompass the scenarios under which a student can go and receive this care.
Yeah. Well, I'd be happy to get into it. I just love the way you stated it. It just really grounds like the urgency of it and the significance of it. Just add, the students, young people in general, right? We all remember those days. You feel resilient, right? You just feel like you're invincible, and whatever it is, like you said, you fell, maybe you took a really serious stumble and something internally not quite all there, or you're sleeping and you got some neurological thing going on, or a cough, a bad cough, in terms of annual exams or pap smears and things like that. You put these things off, not necessarily always because you feel like you're invincible, but you feel like it's a big disruption to your life. You're trying to study, you're trying to build your career, you might be trying to find your next significant other, all those things that are very important too. But we want to make sure that you can prioritize your care and make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you can make all those things happen. So I told you, the things that we're doing. So obviously all care can't be everywhere at all the time, but we can bring a lot more what we call primary care and preventative care right to your doorstep. And that's what we're doing with this partnership with Central Georgia Tech. So if a student or a faculty member is experiencing some symptoms similar to what we just said, if they're suffering from illnesses like flu or strep throat, possibly COVID, we still have COVID going around. So any sort of respiratory distress, if they're having some need for preventative care, like I said, GYN exams and things like that. And even if they have chronic conditions, right? So if they have some type of chronic condition where they're already, under care, but, managing those conditions so that they don't get out of whack is important, we will have healthcare professionals right on site for them available to help them with that. We'll even be able to provide some diagnostic services that help them as well. And as situations happen and things become a little bit more acute in nature and they need to follow up, we can actually present them or help to facilitate their ability to get additional care. We can basically serve as their primary care physician or primary care provider if they don't have it. And if they do, we can partner with their primary care provider to support their care. So we're standing in the gaps, trying to make sure that across the board, everybody is able to be as healthy as possible and to live the best life possible.
Well, that is so outstanding and so important. And I don't think it needs to be overlooked that, Atrium Navicent is taking a holistic approach toward improving and making this a healthier community. I mean, what you're doing at Central Georgia Tech is phenomenal and noteworthy. But I don't think that we should just overlook the fact that it's the general philosophy and the general approach and the general intention of Atrium Navicent to improve the entire community. I mean, this is just another step, in trying to address, complete care and holistic care. And I just appreciate the fact that we could have, just think about the influence that health has on the quality of life. Just think of the influence that it has on the well-being of the community, the economic posture of the community. So I mean, just talk about as it relates not only to Central Georgia Tech, but the approach that Atrium uses in trying to, I know you got complete care, you got clinics over town. Yeah, and we really do need to mention the fact, while we're on it, before we get into the community element, the fact that even online students can access healthcare through telehealth,
Right.
So talk a little bit about that. I think it's important also.
Yeah. So a little bit more on Central Georgia Tech, and then leading into that broader approach, which you're spot on, man. Central Georgia Tech has so many wonderful, incredible programs that are training people in so many different professions and trades, and really helping the economic engine of Central and South Georgia, and helping address, equity and people being able to attain, good jobs and careers. And so the extent to which we can keep them, focus on their study, able to attend classes, get the value of that education and translate it, all of us benefit from that. And so that's why we're really excited, because they just, again, it's such a premier place of learning, and a place that's really serving our community well. And so we're just honored to partner with them on that. But to your point, yeah, one of the big pieces, or one of the elements of this student-based health services is virtual care. It is a platform that we are very proud to provide, and some of their students actually are students who attend some of their classes virtually. And so we want to make sure that that they're able to patch in and, get some consultation, referrals, whatever other sort of things that we can offer virtually to support their healthcare and health and well-being needs as well. But one of the things, or I would say in addition, all of this, the student health services, the virtual services, the entirety have been a nice kind of extension of what legacy Navicent was doing in Central and South Georgia for years, for decades even. And our partnership with Atrium, which is now Advocate Health and based out of Charlotte, is bringing all of these additional enhanced sort of capabilities that we can offer in our community. Atrium Health, legacy Atrium Health in Charlotte, does student health services with a lot of schools throughout Charlotte and North Carolina. So when we went to them and said, hey, we want to do the same thing in Central and South Georgia, they said, why not? And they rolled up their sleeves and we started, cultivating the relationships and before long, really a short matter of time, we found synergy and alignment with Central Georgia Tech. And so we're so honored to be able to provide that. As you mentioned, the virtual health component, we're able to layer that onto it. We do that in a couple of other contexts within our traditional healthcare delivery context, but also just in a broader community. So you're right. This is not anything that is not part of our core business and part of our core, what we call mission as an organization, improving health, elevating hope, and advancing healing for all. And we really believe in that for all piece of it. And this is just yet another way in which we're making that happen in this community.
Well, I really applaud Atrium Navicent, which is a part of, is it advocacy or advocate?
Yeah, now a member of
Advocate
Health. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I just really applaud everybody, locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally, particularly in the Southeast for the role that you all are playing. So let's talk a little bit about the other part of the community. A lot of times people talk about Atlanta, and then they say the rest of us are in the other state of Georgia. So let's talk about So let's talk about some of the other general community-based services that Atrium, and then let me tell you what's driving me, and I know it drives you and Miss Cindy, is we want people to be conscientious about health care. Yeah. We want people to know about the availability of health care. We want people to be educated and informed about preventative care and resources, and even with food, Atrium Navicent even has where you can go and get healthy food. So just talk generally about Atrium Navicent's approach to dealing with the entire community and trying to be intentional, if you please, to make sure that it's addressed and improved.
Well, I will gladly do that, and I'll touch on a couple of points, some of which you highlighted. I mean, we firmly believe that we have a responsibility for being a net positive contributor to our community. We benefit from nearly 100 years of support from this community to ensure that we can promote the health of the community, and that goes well beyond the walls of our hospitals, of our clinics, of our urgent care facilities. It really does involve us reaching out into the community and knowing from a community health needs assessment perspective, where are those gaps? What is standing between our community and better health across the board? And so we talked about this student health piece with Central Georgia Tech. We also do, as you mentioned, a food pantry where we're providing healthy fruits and vegetables and other foods for individuals, particularly those with chronic conditions. We have a demonstration kitchen where we're doing things, particularly like in Heart Healthy Month, showing people how to prepare food so that it's both healthy and tasty, to encourage people to eat more healthily. We're in a very rich area of the country where we're able to provide a lot of agriculture. We should be really healthy, taking advantage of all those fresh fruits and vegetables that our environment provides. And so we're trying to make sure that happens, right? We're also addressing the economic attainment gap. We're providing opportunities across the board for people to pursue careers in healthcare. We have a very robust strategy that's called outside in and inside up. So we're taking people from high schools, from technical schools, from our nursing programs, and saying, let's get you in and working with us. And if you want to advance your career once you're here, to go on to, be go from a housekeeper or maybe a patient care tech or even materials management to being a doctor or a nurse, we're promoting people's ability to do that. And not only are we promoting it, we're supporting it. We provide tuition assistance, loan repayment programs. We're actually providing a conduit to make that pathway a lot more realistic for people. So addressing economic opportunity, which is a part of how you then take care of yourself and your family, providing food and helping people to do that. And really, we put that under the bucket of providing hope and healing for all, and it goes beyond just healthcare. So we are incredibly thrilled, and we hope and plan to do even more. Like we know that we can do more, and we know that the need is there, and that's great.
Well, last time I checked, it's called stewardship and citizenship. And a lot of people don't realize that corporations have a responsibility to be good stewards and good citizens. And I think this is an absolute, unarguable indication of good stewardship and good citizenship on the part of Atrium, and trying to make this a better community through employment, through training, through education, through healthcare, through information, through nutrition, you name it.
Yeah.
And so I think the community would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge, and express. And there are other corporations doing the same thing, but I just happen to be talking to Atrium Navicent today. So we really, really appreciate everything that you all are doing. And then, careers are important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe you can let people know where to go in case they want to get involved in healthcare or want to try to get a job or get a promotion or something of that nature. Because we're going to need good people.
Absolutely.
We need good companies, but in order to have good companies, we got to have good people, to work those companies and provide it. So I think those initiatives are very important to the community. Should they just go to the website?
Yes,
Or
sir.
how does one
Yes,
find
sir.
out more information about?
Absolutely right. They can go to atriumhelpnavicent.org and look up all the different career opportunities we have. The beautiful thing about healthcare is we cover the gamut, man. So if you're a driver, you're in environmental services, you're in food services, you're in clinical roles, you're in engineering and trades, electrical, plumbing, all those things we need and we use. And so those are pathways to you actually providing great service and having a good job and good benefits for the community or for individuals and families. So we really encourage people to do that. And actually, if you will allow me, I also want to take an opportunity to thank our community partners. I mean, none of this work happens in a vacuum. And so, whether it is the chamber or it's the Bibb County schools or even schools in other parts of the Central and South Georgia, Peach County, and others that we work very closely with, those partnerships help to make those visions manifest. We have very well aligned people who have an equal and abiding commitment to supporting the community, and they see us or our foundation as a really strong means of by which to make that happen. So I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of them for their partnership in supporting our community as well.
Well, we really appreciate it. And congratulations to Dr. Allen and Central Georgia Tech and everybody, Atrium Navicent, and everybody, all the partners and everybody who played a role, not only in establishing those clinics, but also try to improve the general posture of our community through the improvement of health care. And it is very important. And I know that you join me in encouraging all citizens, everybody, to be concerned about their health. And whenever they have a problem, find a resource to help address it, because they are out there, and you can go to the website to find, and just if you don't know, ask somebody, because health is important, and the longer you ignore a problem, then the worse it can get. And in many instances, People have gotten deathly ill because of not trying to pay attention early on. So I applaud you. I applaud Navicent. And you got the final word.
Just want to thank you for your partnership, and I'll throw in one last plug. We will be lead sponsor for the half marathon coming up this November. We want to get people out and moving. So I don't care if you're a new runner, you're an expert runner. Get out and move. I don't care if you walk the whole daggone thing. We just know that it'll be important to promote health. We have 5Ks. We do walk with a doc. So tell people to look out for that, and we want to see the entire community out there and moving. So thank you so much again.
And give that website again.
www.atriumhealthnavicent.org.
This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Mr. Dale Baker Finley, who's president of Atrium Navicent Health, which is a division of Advocate Health. I learned that. See, I learned fast, man.
Very fast. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all that the institution does. And thank you for the role that you play and your employees play and your partners play, and that everybody plays in making this a better and a healthier community. We all benefit from it. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com.
Plans are now underway.
For the new
2023-2024.
Macon Middle Georgia Black Pages and Resource Guide
The theme is 200 years
of the African American business.
the journey, challenges, successes, and legacy in Macon and Middle Georgia. Thanks to community-wide support, we will celebrate the 31st year of the publication. Along with your
Free listen.
you will gain additional exposure. Our advertising rates work for every budget.
You cannot afford not to advertise.
Circulation of the hard copy edition includes 9 central Georgia counties.
Pick up a book.
The new and improved website is another effective medium for marketing, where your ad will appear free of charge.
Digital Lit.
Digital promotion includes email blasts to over 25,000 recipients and all social media platforms. Think Black Pages to market your business. For more info, visit
MaconBlackPages.com.